Playful Pat's Farmyard Adventure by Lisa Kelly. Pat was known to be quite playful. When his big eyes sparkled and his little freckles twitched, you never knew what Pat would be up to next. Today was extra special, a trip to Loveland, Colorado, to visit relatives on a real farm. Pat, his sister Shannon, and their parents piled into the car, buzzing with excitement. As they drove away from the city, Pat pressed his nose against the window. The houses and buildings shrunk in the back mirror, replaced by a magical sight. The sky stretched out wide and blue, like a giant canvas painted with fluffy white clouds. The drive was an adventure in itself. After an hour, the landscape changed. The sky seemed a deeper blue, and a sweet, fresh smell filled the air. It wasn't the city smell Pat was used to, this was the smell of sunshine on hay and happy animals. Aunt Helen greeted them with warm hugs and the most delicious aroma, apple pie fresh from the oven. The cozy farmhouse was filled with the smell of cinnamon and happiness. After a delightful slice of pie, it was time for the real fun to begin, exploring the farmyard. Their first stop was the duck pond. Shannon squealed with delight at the sight of fluffy, yellow ducklings. They were so tiny and soft-looking, like living cotton balls. Pat desperately wanted to pet one, but Aunt Helen explained that Mama Duck wouldn't like that. Ducklings are precious babies, and mamas are very protective. The apple orchard was next, and the apples were perfect for picking. Aunt Helen smiled and grabbed a separate basket. "We can't forget our furry friends," she said, winking at Pat and Shannon. Apples are a favorite treat for Harry the horse. They finally met Harry the horse. Aunt Helen warned them that Harry wasn't feeling his best today, so it was best to give him some space. Pat couldn't understand why anyone would be grumpy in such a wonderful place. They found the cows grazing peacefully. It was milking time, and a kind farmhand named Mr. Mike offered Pat the chance to milk a cow. Pat wanted no part in milking the cow. Shannon, however, bounced up and down, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Me! Me! I want to milk the cow," she declared, already reaching for the pail. Pat chuckled. Maybe that's why Shannon was such a fearless gymnast, she wasn't afraid of anything. Mr. Mike showed her how to hold the pail and squeeze gently, explaining that cows are friendly creatures who appreciate a gentle touch. Shannon gently squeezing warm milk from the cow's udder, the pouch under a cow's belly that holds milk. Shannon found milking a cow was a surprisingly gentle and rewarding experience. Shannon beamed as she sat down on the stool. "What's the cow's name, Mr. Mike?" she asked. Mr. Mike chuckled. "Actually, she doesn't have a name yet. Would you like to give her one?" Shannon's eyes sparkled. "Perfect," she exclaimed. "Let's call her Big Moo, and her calf can be Little Moo. Just like Pat's favorite baby blanket." Pat's cheeks flushed pink. "That's a great name, Shannon," Pat mumbled. Suddenly, Pat's eyes widened. There, towering above them, was a magnificent green tractor. It was taller than his dad's truck, with wheels taller than his dad. As much as he wanted to ride, Aunt Helen explained that tractors are big machines, not toys, and Mr. Mike was busy. Disappointment quickly faded when Mom suggested seeing the piglets. Both Pat and Shannon raced off, giggling at the piglets' playful squeals. They learned that pigs love to roll in mud, because it keeps them cool. Then Pat helped feed them a sloppy mix that made a hilarious mess. Pigs will be pigs, the kids spotted a llama. It was big and very pretty. Shannon ran over to greet it. Before Aunt Helen could warn her, the llama stretched out its long neck and pfft. A mouthful of wet spit landed squarely on Shannon. Pat burst into laughter, doubling over with glee. Shannon got spit on by a llama. "That's the funniest thing ever," he cried. After they cleaned Shannon up, they went to the hen house. Pat and Shannon tiptoed inside, giggling as fluffy chickens clucked and scattered around their feet. Aunt Helen handed them each a basket. "Let's see how many treasures we can find," she said with a wink. A bossy hen with a bright red head strutted up to Pat, her beady eyes fixed on the basket. "Those eggs are mine, young man," she seemed to cluck. Understanding her protective nature, Pat said, "Time to go." As the sun began to set, they walked back to the car, passing a majestic peacock strutting by like a feathered king. Aunt Helen picked up a beautiful feather that had fallen and gave it to the kids as a memory of their farmyard adventure. When the family finally arrived home and Pat was tucked in bed, he asked his dad with a sleepy smile, "Can we move to a farm, Dad?" His parents exchanged a knowing look, with a twinkle in their eyes. It was a perfect ending to a perfect day. The end. Hit that subscribe button, leave your comments below, and let us know where you think Pat should go next. The world is waiting, and the adventure begins now. Join Pat and his sister Shannon on an adventure to Aunt Helen's bustling farm. Get ready for a day filled with laughter and unexpected surprises as they meet a charming array of animals. From waddling ducks to a dignified horse named Harry, and gentle cows eager for milking, the farm is brimming with life. Pat can't get enough of the mischievous piglets, while Shannon is delighted by the clucking chickens. The real adventure begins when they encounter a llama, who has a cheeky way of making its presence known, right in Shannon's face. Playful Pat's Farmyard Adventure is a heartwarming tale full of giggles, discoveries, and a few messy moments. With lively illustrations and an enchanting storyline, this book is perfect for young adventurers eager for a taste of farm life.